Hello, this is Captain Daniels from Starbase 333 to give you your daily Star Trek news. And I must say, it's where no man has gone before. Now let's get going with our Star Trek news. Today we'll be researching history and people, with Gene Roddenberry as our first character. Gene Roddenberry was born from 1921 to 1991, completing 1.5 of his Star Trek series. Nowadays there are 3 more to keep his generation going. One of the most famous incidents that Gene Roddenberry has lived through was a plane crash. Gene Roddenberry and his colleagues were stranded in the desert for couple of weeks or so, but he kept things in order and kept it straight, nice, and even. And as soon as they were rescued, Gene Roddenberry got a commendation. Now let's go to Rick Berman, the executive producer to Star Trek, and now is one of their newest makers. He makes shows like Andromeda, Star Trek, which we know, and other things. Let's go to some of the characters of the show. Let's say the first captain of the Enterprise, William Shatner. In 1931, William Shatner was born. He is the original series captain's James T. Kirk of the Enterprise. Back to his childhood, he was a Canadian Jewish child who preferred sports very much. When he grew older, he had 2 wives, plus 3 kids. Talk about living large. He had a giant movie career as a director, producer, and an actor. He played sports a lot, football, singing, lots of other things. Now let's go to our second captain, Patrick Stewart. He was born in 1940. He has a giant movie career too, but is only an actor and a writer. He was the Next Generation captain, Jean-Luc Picard. He married Sheila Falconer, and he liked Shakespeare a lot. At a convention every time he always gets a chance to read some Shakespeare. Now let's go behind the scenes. Here we're going to learn how they used to get away from the old-fashioned 2236. In TNG, they had star dates, which are much different from our dates, which mean absolutely nothing. When the new series began, TNG, they added an extra 0, which means that there's just been a lot of time that's passed. The NCC also means nothing, because planes, like in these days, had NC on them, so all they did was add an extra C. But the NX actually means something on the ships. You know, the registration numbers, NX-01, NCC 1701. Well, the NX means experimental ships, which haven't been used yet. Now let's go to their technology. Now, most of their technology needs more power than one of our suns. Talk about their electric bill. There have been a little mistakes. Let's take the Enterprise, for example. NX-01 has a crew of 87, but it's the same size as the NCC-1701, but it has 5 times the crew, and that's 87 times 5. That's a big crew. And nowadays, people are starting to theorize about the warp drive system that these ships have. Mainly, that's why Star Trek is based on, the new warp capabilities. Now, people are saying, like, Lawrence Cross, he says that if you could actually make a warp drive, it would warp space and time itself. Now, let's go to up-to-date news. Here we are. Now, people nowadays, for the Star Trek heroes, are doing disaster relief funds to help our natural disasters. And the national disasters. They're earning more money for the Painted Town Red, White, and Blue, and they're also doing more conventions to earn more money, and they're also doing the Star Trek Heroes program. Now, I believe you heard my Star Trek news. I thank you all. keep your eye out for the new series called Enterprise. It's filming right now. We hope to see you all again on Star Trek News. Thank you and good night.